Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a great day so far. So yes, I've been gone for a little bit. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know my energy might be a little bit different in this video. I do apologize, but I've shared with everyone that I've been sick. I took this whole week off of work and next thing you know, I caught, I guess like something like the flu. So I've been kind of missing from social media, from uploading, but I wanted to get up on here with you guys today and do a video for y'all. This video was chosen by my patrons. I put a poll up for them to choose my next YouTube topic, and they chose for me to talk about Gayle King and the whole Kobe Bryant fiasco that had happened on social media these past 2 weeks or so. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But if you are new here, welcome. This is Journey to Find Kay, and I'm Kay. I like to talk about mental health. I usually react to The Rewired Soul, but I will talk about other topics here on this platform or in society, period, if I feel we can learn a lesson about mental health and or substance abuse, because I'm a mental health patient, worker, and advocate, and I want to use my experience and my opinion to kind of negate some of the things that we see here in society. So if you enjoy my content, you enjoy watching me, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell so that way you're also notified every time I post a video. And like I said, this video is a topic that was chosen by my patrons, and they also will get to see this before you guys. So if you want to check out my Patreon, don't be afraid to head over there at patreon.com, Journey to Find Kay. You can check out the different tiers that I have, the different perks that you get with each one. I still have my special going on. If you sign up to be one of my patrons before this Friday, February 14th at 8 p.m., you do get a specialized dedicated shout out just for joining my Patreon. So don't be afraid to go ahead over there, check it out, so that way you can choose topics that we talk about and see my videos a little early. But again, no pressure. If you just want to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, that is support as well, and I definitely appreciate it. So yes, today's video is a topic that my patrons chose for me to talk about, and it is about the whole Gayle and Kobe Bryant fiasco. So now I felt a certain type of way when this first came out, because I'll just be honest with y'all, I don't like Gayle. I don't like Gayle. I don't like Oprah. I think I said that before in a video of mine, that I really am not a fan of Oprah. And I don't like Gayle because she's associated with Oprah. I don't like her. But that's a whole nother video as to why I don't like those two women. We're not even going to be talking about how much I don't like her. Today we're going to be talking about the interview that she had with WNBA star Lisa Leslie. I love Lisa Leslie. I grew up when I was young when the WNBA ended up being like this huge thing and they started it, and I remember Lisa Leslie was like one of the biggest WNBA stars. So seeing Gayle interview her right after Kobe Bryant's death, a lot of my subscribers know that hit me really hard, kind of helped push me a little bit into a depressive episode that I'm still dealing with to this day. Adding that I'm sick doesn't make it any better, but she did this interview not too long after his passing, and there was a lot of backlash. A lot of people had issues with it. A lot of people didn't like the clip that they saw that CBS had put out to kind of promote the actual interview, and people felt a type of way. People were stating that she shouldn't have asked that question so soon after his death. They felt like it was a setup, and of course, sorry about my cat, but of course it's also because it's Gayle King. A lot of people do not like Gayle King because of her association with Oprah. So I felt a certain type of way when this first came out. I did kind of go in on Gayle in my personal life, talking about why did she do that? What is the reason for her asking this question? Yes, it was positioned really tacky by CBS, but I still felt some type of way of like, you're interviewing Lisa Leslie, why are you asking this type of question just because they were friends? Now that I actually had time to really sit back and think about it, I didn't like the backlash that Gayle received. As much as I do not like her, I feel that many people don't want to sit down and really think about someone's legacy. Everyone wanted to be upset and say,
oh, you're diminishing Kobe's legacy. He's just passed away. Why are we talking about things that were, settled out of court? He didn't really go to court for these things. Why are we talking about this when people are still mourning? His family is still mourning.
And at first, I felt like, yes, that's true. Why are you talking about these things? And why are you diminishing this man's legacy? But then I really had to sit down and think about it. And when we talk about legacy, we're talking about everything that is associated with that person. And a big reminder I want everyone to think of is that two things can be true. Someone can be a great person, but also have bad behaviors. Someone can sit here and do good things, but also do bad things at the same time, right? Or at the same time in their life, right? So at first, me being upset, it was kind of like I really was just going off of emotion. I was going off the fact that I cared about this person. He was someone I looked up to. I enjoyed his games, all of that, right? Cat. But then I really had to sit down and think of what it means to have a legacy. And the legacy, when we talk about someone's legacy, we can't sit here and just always focus on just the positive, because that person had good and bad. We need to talk about both things. And I feel that Gayle is a journalist. She calls herself a journalist. I don't remember where she was a journalist before. I've always known her as Oprah's friend, but she is a journalist. And when it comes to journalism, we expect these people to be able to ask the hard questions, to ask things that maybe other people wouldn't ask. They're supposed to be objective. So when I really sat down and thought about it, her asking this question was something that we should have expected, because this is a part of his legacy. And this is something that has happened while he was in his prime playing basketball. So this is a part of his legacy. So for everyone to be upset because she asked a question, a legitimate question about something that had occurred in his legacy, I felt that everyone blew it out of proportion, and I was included. I feel that we need to be reminded that someone's legacy, again, is not just the positives, it is also the negatives. We cannot sit here and gloss over some of the negative things that people did just because they might have passed away, just because something bad happened to them. This is something that I think we need to be reminded of, is that someone's legacy isn't just a positive view of everything that they have done. We need to be objective and understand that what makes a person isn't only good, there are bad situations that also shape a person as well. So yes, that was something that a lot of people might not want to talk about because it was settled, it was so long ago, but it is still something that was important, that had happened while he was alive, and is something that we can still talk about in his passing. So I had to kind of sit down and check myself and say, hey, what are you doing? This is something that I felt kind of hypocritical about, because I can't sit here and tell people to consistently think critically if I was unable to sit there and do that myself, because I was just running off of emotions. And this applies to so many different things that have happened on social media recently, or in just our everyday lives. We always want to sit here and look at just the good, or just focus on certain things about a person, when two things can be true. There's plenty of celebrities out there who have had trash moments in their past, but they also have good qualities that we can look at. There are plenty of times where someone may have passed away, and we tend to always just want to remember the good, but there's nothing wrong with bringing up some of their problematic behaviors as well, because these are lessons that hopefully they have learned from, but stuff that we can learn from. Another big one that had happened, and I'm a huge hip hop listener, so there was a rapper who had passed away last year. He had gotten shot, and his name was Nipsey Hussle, right? And for a long time, so many people were just so sad. They were upset. They talked about all of the good things that he had did, but there were people out there who were saying, but let's not forget some of the negative things that he had said. Because it is possible for someone to be a positive role model for the majority of their community, but they can also say trash things that is still a part of who they are. So I had to sit back and think about that. Even in that situation, just because he passed away doesn't mean some of the problematic things that he said when he was alive, it might have hurt people's feelings that it was directed to. And that's something we need to be cognizant of. That is something that we have to be reminded of, that there are negatives and positives when it comes to a person. And a lot of it, we can use that in real life. It's not just with celebrities. It's not just something that we have to think of when it comes to someone with some type of status. If something happens to them, or if they're even alive, we shouldn't sit here and just think of all the positives and say the negative things were just in the past. That's things that we should forget about. They've moved on. That's done. No, it is something that consistently you will have to answer to, especially when you think about what Kobe Bryant was accused of back then. Those are things that are going to be consistently asked and talked about because it was serious. Because it was something that was serious, it had a negative impact on someone's life. So I personally feel like a lot of people who were upset at Gayle King and calling her all types of names and doing all of that, that was trash. There was no reason for people to be calling people any types of names just because she asked a question that you did not like and you felt was too soon to be asked. But again, when it comes down to someone's legacy, and that was the biggest thing, so many people said, oh, you're tarnishing his legacy. Why are you doing that? Well, a part of his legacy is negative things as well. Just like if I passed away, there are going to be people who can say Kay was awesome and all of that jazz, but there could be people in my past who say she's trash as hell. She did this, this, and this, right? That is still a part of my legacy, because just because I passed away or just because I got into a good place or whatever the case is, it doesn't negate the negative things that I did prior. And it's things that to where if I had to apologize, that is something I would consistently apologize for. You see it all the time on this platform to where even certain YouTubers, they will consistently still have to apologize for certain things because that is a part of their legacy. They had a negative moment. They had something that wasn't positive at the time, and they need to continue, and they may need to continue apologize or answer for it, no matter how long it was, especially depending on the seriousness of the situation. I feel that we need to remind ourselves, just because it's uncomfortable for us to hear, it's something we don't want to hear, does not mean that we can just forget about it, gloss over it, and think, oh, now because this person passed away or because they're doing so good, we can just forget about some of the bad things that might have happened in the past. So ultimately, I feel like people needed to calm down, and we do see it now where a lot of people have came and they've apologized for some of the language that they used because they realized they were speaking out of emotion. But I feel like this is a lesson that we could use every day, because, and now let me give you a little mental health spin on it. Say I want to grow as a person. Maybe I'm going to therapy and I want to learn different ways to where I don't make these mistakes again. I have to hold myself accountable for not only the good things that I've done in my life, I would also hold myself accountable for the negative things that have happened in my life and be able to process maybe why these things occurred, so I can continue to do a better job in the days going forward, right? We want to expect ourselves to go to therapy and talk to a therapist and only share the positive things that we have done. Our therapist would look at us like, okay, life isn't always that great. What are some of the things that you have done that you might not be happy about, or that could be a negative thing in your life? And you would share that because that is a part of you as well. So my main point in this video would be, for us to move forward, to continue to be our version of successful, we have to embrace both the good and bad when it comes to people. And that goes for everyone. That could be your friends, that can be your family, that could be anyone you deal with on a personal basis, even yourself. When we talk to these people, or we choose to have these people in our lives, we usually sit there and think of the good and the bad, the pros and the cons. Everybody has them. And we can't, as much as we always want to just focus on the positives, we also need to be accountable and hold others and ourselves accountable for the negative things in our lives as well. So when it came to the whole Gayle King thing, I had to sit down and talk to myself and remind myself that me reacting that way, the way that I did, upset and with emotion, was trash. I was judging someone and being upset at someone for doing their job. She is a journalist. That is what she is supposed to do. They are supposed to ask the hard questions and make you uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to be for a soundbite. Yes, CBS chose that moment to, flash around, and that's a whole nother topic. But she's a journalist, and that is what journalists are supposed to do. And just because I love Kobe, and a lot of people loved Kobe on the basketball field, on the basketball court, and off of it, we can't sit here and turn a blind eye to the negative things that had occurred in his life, because that is a part of his legacy. That is a part of everyone's legacy. The good, the bad, the mediocre, that is life. those are things that we have to hold ourselves accountable for as well. If we want to continue to move forward, if we want to continue to be successful in the way we call ourselves successful, we can't sit here and just swear to goodness that our lives were always just a bunch of positivity, when we know damn well, if we really looked, there's some negative shit back there that I bet many people could sit here and call us out on, right? So that's my opinion. Those are just my feelings. I feel a lot of people overreacted. I feel a lot of people spoke with emotion, and I feel a lot of people forget that a person's legacy or your legacy isn't going to always just be positive. There's going to be negatives, especially if they're big negative moments in your life. And those are things that we have to embrace and we have to accept, because that's just part of being human. Like I said, you wouldn't go to therapy thinking, oh, well, I'm going to help myself by just talking about the positives. You would talk about the negatives because we can learn from those moments as well. That's just my opinion. A little quick, short and sweet video just because I don't feel good. I appreciate my patrons for choosing this topic, because it is a topic that I wanted to talk about, because I think it's something that we can be reminded on a day-to-day basis, that no person on this earth is 100% pure gold positivity. A lot of us have things in our past that are negative as shit. Someone can call us out on it, and that would be a part of our legacy as well. And we just need to be able to learn and accept it and try to continue to do more positive than negative, because we can't control what people say about us afterwards. So let's try to have it be more positive than negative, but let's not be upset when people are going to remind you of the bad things as well. So I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below. Were you upset with the way Gayle asked this question to Lisa Leslie? Do you feel people overreacted? What is your take on a legacy? Do you think we should just focus on the positives, or should we also acknowledge the negatives as well? I want to hear what you guys have to say. I thank you guys so much for being here. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell so that way you're also notified every time I post a video. If you like the video, give it a good old thumbs up. But also don't be afraid to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/journey to 5K, where you can check out my different tiers and maybe have the possibility of choosing a topic for one of my videos and seeing it early as well. So don't be afraid to check that out. But again, no pressure. If you guys just like watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing my videos, all of that is support. And I appreciate y'all so much for stopping by and watching me. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.